Hi everyone, this is Norm from the Board Game Museum, and today I'm going to be reviewing and showing you the board game Fled, along with its two expansions. Now the object of Fled is you're going to be trying to score the most amount of points while trying to escape a prison, and also trying to trade contrabands for certain color backgrounds that are going to also score you points. You're going to have some warders that you're going to have to avoid, and you're also going to have a chaplain that will be able to help you as well. So let's check it out. So in this game, you're going to be playing the part of a criminal that is in jail, and you're going to try to score the most amount of points by the time the game ends. The main way you're going to be scoring is through escaping the prison. If you're able to do that successfully, you're going to gain 5 points. The other ways you're going to be able to score is by having these different colored banners in your inventory, which are going to be in this section. Now right over here, this is going to be off the board in the real game, but right here you have your prisoner. These are the actions you can take, and this is just a little chart to show you the different tools and the different ways you can trade things called contraband in your inventory for other tiles that are going to have these little banners here. So right over here you've got a whole bunch of tiles that you're going to be able to draw from. At the end of each turn you're going to draw back up to 5 tiles, and right over here is the governor's row, and there's a few things with this. This whistle is going to move anytime you play a tile that has a symbol on it, which looks like this. When that happens, this whistle is going to go ahead and move, and that is going to go ahead and dictate a few things. Number one, this is going to dictate the different contraband that you're going to be able to play over here to make your inventory, and it's also going to dictate which floors that you will be safe in if a warder ends up coming up to you, which I'll talk about a little later. So in the game, you're going to have a few different things. Contraband is going to be used to store over here in your inventory, which you can later trade to get these tiles that have these different banners on them, which are typically going to be tools. So here are pictures of the different contraband. Here are the different tools that you're going to be using. Now, the first thing you're going to do in the game is you're going to lay down one of these tiles, and you're going to go ahead and connect it to a tile that is already on the board. And this is the way it works. You've got doors, you've got windows, and then you also have archways. An archway will go ahead and connect to an archway like that. A window will connect to a window like that. And then, of course, a door will go ahead and connect to another door like this. Now, you can also connect archways to doors and windows. However, in order to move through these things, you're going to need certain tools. If you wish to move through 2 doors, you're going to need a key. To move through 2 windows, you're going to need a file. To move through 2 archways, you're going to need shoes. And then you also have holes in the game that you're going to be able to dig with a spoon. And if that happens, you can go ahead and move from a room like this all the way over here to a room like this that happens to have another hole in it. On top of this, you're going to have a shamrock, and shamrocks are going to be wild, so you can use those for any type of tool that you would like to. So in the game, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and place a tile, and you'll start with 5. So let's just say I decide I'm going to go ahead and play a tile right here. So I'll go ahead and match up the 2 windows. Now the next thing I can do is I'm going to play 2 more tiles. So let's just say I happen to play the tile that has the file on it. Now you're going to note this purple background. This is where this is going to come in later. So I'll go ahead and saw through the windows, and I'll be able to go ahead and move over here for my first turn. Now another thing I can do is I can go ahead and play on the inventory. Wherever the whistle is, this is going to tell me which contraband I can go ahead and play. And so since I can play a stamp, I'll go ahead and play a stamp right over here. Now I can have up to 3 items in my inventory, but if I have a shamrock, I can add the shamrock to it, and that would make a total of 4. Now whenever you're playing your turn, anything that you have that is gold, you're going to go ahead and play first. Otherwise, you can play whatever you want. Also, if you get to a place where you can't play anything, you can go ahead and place a tile over here in the governor's row to the right of the governor, like so. And later on, you can draw from here or from here in order to refill. Anytime you play a tile that happens to have this hat on there, let's say I place this over here, I'm going to go ahead and add another warder to that tile. And this is the chaplain tile. If I play that, you're going to go ahead and place the chaplain in here like so. Now, if you end up playing a tile that has a whistle on it, there's going to be a few things that are going to happen. First thing that's going to happen is this whistle is going to go ahead and move to this space where there is an open window. And now you're going to be able to get this contraband in your inventory, and these floors will keep you safe. The next thing that's going to happen is one of the warders is going to go ahead and move. So I can move it towards somebody that is my opponent. So I can go here, I can go here. Now I can't move through windows, unfortunately, but let's just say that the warder was able to get to this guy. You're going to go ahead and look at the flooring, and since the criminal is not on any of these floors, this is going to shackle him. The player who moved the warder is going to draw one of the tiles from his opponent, and he's going to turn it over, and now you're going to go ahead and see that he is shackled, and that means he's not going to be able to move. The way he will be able to get out is if a warder ends up reaching him again, he will get unshackled and then placed back into his room like so. Now there's also a solitary confinement tile. So if this tile happened to be over here, what's going to happen in this case, if the warder reached him again, he will go ahead and get placed here, and then on his next turn, he'll go ahead and get placed here. But regardless, this will be removed. Now the chaplain, if you play the whistle, you'll be able to move the chaplain as well. If the chaplain ends up reaching somebody and he happened to be shackled like this, he will go ahead and remove the shackle. Now the way you're going to be able to trade contraband for these particular tiles is you have to be over here into the warder's office. And when you are, then you'll be able to go ahead and trade. So the way it works is for anything that is purple and below, you're going to be able to go ahead and trade one tile. So I could do something like this. I could trade this contraband for this, for example. If I wanted to get anything that was gold or green, which are worth more points, I'm going to have to trade two tiles. So in this case, I could turn these two in, and I could go ahead and put a green one in here like so. So now I'll have a purple and a green, which are going to score me points later in the game. Now the way I'm going to be able to go ahead and escape from here is I'm going to have in the beginning 2 spoons to play in order to escape, and this would be a free action. So I would have these 2, and I have to play them from my inventory. I can go ahead and play them and then hop on out. Now where this part on the right side comes in, this is going to is if you happen to be on a floor where the moon is showing. So right now I have these 2 floors. I don't have those right now, so I would have to go ahead and pay that. But if it happened to be one of these 2 floors I was standing on, I could just simply play 1 spoon and then hop out. And so once I hop out, that is going to go ahead and trigger the end of the game, and everyone will get 1 more time to play. And then after that, you're going to go ahead and score. If you've escaped, you'll go ahead and score. If you've had, for any of these colors that you have in there, you'll lose 1 point if you happen to be shackled by the time the game ends. And whoever has the most amount of points is going to win the game. So there are 2 expansions that come with the game Fled, and that is the Spectre expansion and the Governor's Hound expansion. So with the Spectre expansion, this is going to allow you to play the game solo. And if you're playing solo, you're going to be moving the ghost once at the end of every turn, and it can move through anything. If the ghost ever ends up catching you, that is going to go ahead and end the game, so you're going to have to escape before he does. If you're playing a multiplayer game, the rules are going to change a little bit. So here's the rules to the solo variant, but essentially you're going to just be trying to avoid this ghost. And if you're playing with multiple people, if the ghost ends up catching you, he's just going to send you back to the room automatically. Now with the Hound, you're going to be receiving 3 of these tiles that's going to allow you to move the dog. It can move only through double archways and tunnels. If you played that, you can go ahead and move the dog up to 3 rooms. So here's a tunnel. I can move him over here, for example. So what this is going to do is it's going to go ahead and tell you which contraband you're going to be able to play over here. So it's going to, alongside what the whistle tells you. And that's what you can do with that expansion. So this is one of those games that has multiple uses for these tiles. You can use these tiles to lay out the prison. You can use these tiles to pick different tools to get out. You have tiles that will help you get contraband, and then you also are going to have those tiles that will have those different colored backgrounds to help you score in the inventory. Now, ultimately what you want to do is you want to try to escape. You also want to try to get the most amount of points in your inventory at the same time, because you are going to be using the tools in your inventory in order to escape. Now, you're also going to have to factor in whether you're going to only use 1 tool or 2 tools. And then you also have the shamrocks that you can use as well. So all of these things you can do with the tiles, and you're trying to figure out a way to manipulate the uses of them for your best benefit. So do you want to lay a tile out that might have a hole in it but has a tool that you could use later, or do you want to use something that's got contraband on it that you could probably put in soon? I have found that usually the best way to play this game is to look at the governor's tile and see where the whistle is going to end up next. So really, it's kind of like a balancing act. You're having to figure out. Another strategy is to try to use the windows to your advantage to try to keep the warder away from you. And another thing that can happen is if you end up getting shackled, it might be a little while until you end up getting a whistle that will allow you to move a warder towards you or the chaplain. You can still lose the game even if you escape, because your opponent might have more points in his inventory than you do. The expansions are also very simple. They add a little bit of nuance to the game. The dog helps get out some of those contraband things in your inventory faster, and the ghost will basically just be moving around just as an added help for the warders. So I think it is a good game. That is my review of Fled. We'll see you. Keep on gaming. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Subscribe and like.
And comment. And
click and
share.
Share.
And have fun. Have a lot of fun. That's what you gotta do.